We are in the heart of the waterfront once again for another episode of Coffee and Chaos. This time around, we're here talking with Christine Soltis, who is a proprietor, I guess we should say, of the Soltis Night Sky Productions and Designs. And, if any of you attended the extremely popular panel discussions that are held in the Bethel Park Library, then you know Christine from those events because she is the moderator for those events, and the topics range an entire gamut of interesting phenomena, life on other planets, Bigfoot, all kind of paranormal type activities. So we thought it might be interesting to head down to Christine's shop here and talk to her a little bit. You are a very multifaceted person, and online, your presence there really pushes the fact that you are, for lack of a better term, a special investigator. In other words, she likes to investigate items that challenge her mind, and I assume from that those cases you like to take are ones that don't readily allow themselves to normal investigations?
Well, that's actually my full-time career is as an investigator, and a lot of the aspects of being an investigator, for at least what I do, special investigations, means it's something that's complex. So a lot of the ones that I do are a little bit more complex. There are simple investigations, and then there are ones that are just, they have multiple parts, I guess is the best way to say it. I can't necessarily give you details on what those entail because some of them are legally bound, but and I also sign for confidentiality on that aspect as well.
But you're not the typical, somebody comes in and says, I think my husband's cheating on me.
No,
Go follow
not
him
at all.
around with a camera.
No.
Not
And that is what a lot of people think investigations is about. And I'm actually doing a talk on that at Bethel Park Library on October 9th of this year. So it'll give a little bit more of detail about, what exactly I do. A lot of mine has to do with insurance, red flags. When attorneys need me to find somebody for litigation, things like that. So I like to go out kind of like a friendly human hunter and find people. So.
What is the one characteristic or whatever characteristics that will kick a particular case over into your hands rather than the guy that hunts for the wayward husband?
Well, it's actually like the place that I work, because I do work for an investigations firm. So I'm not just doing that all on my own. And they're the ones, they only specialize in that. Whenever it comes to domestic cases and things like that, a lot of people will shy away from it just for the sense that if you're in a domestic situation and you're looking for somebody, some information like did your husband cheat, you're going to be mad either way. Like if you find that they cheated, you're going to be mad. If you don't find information, you're going to be mad. There's so many complex emotions with that. So our firm does not take that kind of work. But there are people who are meant for that, people who will sit in a car all day and watch a house. That's not for me. I'm very active, so I have to, get out there and do whatever I possibly can to solve.
Do your investigations ever put you in danger?
Oh my gosh, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I can't give too many examples, but we're looking at, I do 3 states, West Virginia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So there are a lot of rural parts. One of the things I can say is that a lot of the roads, they're back roads. So we're looking at rocky terrain, like you need an SUV to get up into the actual roadway. And some of them are impassable. You can't even get to those roads. So even just something as small like that. Also, you're going to people's houses unannounced and people have their own weapons. So you just always have to be polite or, you just don't know what kind of personality you're going to come across. So being an investigator is not, I wouldn't say it was completely unsafe because we're not there to enforce law, we're there to gather information. So I wouldn't say it's completely unsafe, but there are moments that are dangerous.
I'd imagine some people just plain don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, but I'm pretty nice, and if they have a vested interest, then it's important to talk to me.
Do you ever investigate things of a not normal?
Like a paranormal?
Yes.
Now, I did that when I was a teenager. So a lot of friends and I, we would go on back roads looking for things. Like you would hear like the story about, you know, if you drove around on a certain road, like Amity or wherever, there might be an apparition of some sort. So my friends and I, before I even drove, used to do that. And what I would do is I feel like I was the scariest thing there. so we would be in the car and my friend would be driving and I'd be like a little hand on her shoulder, I'm gonna get you, and she would just kind of be like, ah. So that's kind of how a lot of things went. When I went to do like these little investigations with friends, we never saw anything. I got this weird term, like a spirit blocker. They thought that I was blocking the spirits because it happened when I wasn't with them. Like they would see actual spirits at that time. And nothing happened when I went with them. So I don't do that now, but I have a lot of friends in that industry.
Did you ever come across a case that, because of the nature of the paranormal, it needed to be censored?
I had like a case where, so one of the things I do is I'll look for witnesses around like a property if an incident happens. So I'm knocking on strangers' doors sometimes. And I did come across one person who, like, she went into a whole spill about an exorcism. Like she had an exorcism at her house and stuff like that. It was completely unrelated to the case, but she was just very much felt like she had been cursed and bewitched, and she just was telling me all about that. So there are some times where I'm doing something so serious and I'm coming across stuff that I would see in my artistic life, and I can't allude to that. I can't tell them who I am or what I do.
Yeah.
But I do take in these very interesting.
You take that seriously when they
No,
tell you that?
I take it in like as in, wow, I can't believe that they're telling me this, you know, because it's so weird. Like some people are very closed-mouthed about these type of situations, but others, like the second you see them, they're just spilling.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple where people, and I'm just surprised in this day and age that people talk about exorcisms. There's been a couple where they've said that either their house or like an individual that they know have undergone an exorcism, and for me, I just didn't think that was something. It was archaic. I didn't think it was something modern.
Well, to undergo an exorcism, you really have to be kind of wrapped up into the church, don't you? I mean, an average person can't just go and request
they usually have somebody come to do it.
I see.
Yeah, that they know. And a lot of these rural communities, they are very church-oriented too.
Okay.
So you will, I've seen some crazy things. I'll just say that.
Christine mentioned writing, and we'll talk about that. She has 27 books under her name. When Coffee and Chaos continues after this. Welcome back to Coffee and Chaos, and we're talking with Christine Soltis, and she had mentioned in the first block that she does some writing. That's putting it mildly. Last count, I think it was 27 books?
Yes.
Accredited to your name, writing for like 22 years. Of all those books, because you've done a variety of types of books, which do you feel are your most successful?
Oh my, I know that Spirit Blocker and the Karma, there's a Collecting and Controlling Karma, those two are kind of at the top, because metaphysical is very, something people very much like right now. Back in the day, and still sometimes, Final Moon, a horror story, that one has been pretty popular. And right now, Reclusive 2038, because it's so close to what's going on in our world, has been selling a lot more too. It's a futuristic society.
Okay, you mentioned a couple of topics that I wanted to bring up a little bit later, but let's bring them up now. The one book is called Spirit Blocker, Inside the Awakening. That's a loaded title.
Yeah.
You had already mentioned spirit blocking in the A block.
Yeah.
But explain to our audience what the awakening is and how a spirit blocker affects it.
Okay. So that book in particular is about like the metaphysical, as I stated, and it's semi-biographical. It starts with like my early life, what led me to become an investigator. It goes through different types of energy, how astrology is misunderstood, things like that. Just a lot of different metaphysical elements. Precognition, that's predicting an event before it occurs, and it's the fact that even though we may not choose to see the paranormal, or at least its elements and energy, can choose us, is basically what the topic is for that. So a spirit blocker, I believed for a very long time that after seeing my only one little paranormal experience when I was a kid, I didn't ever want to see that again. Like a lot of people, investigators, paranormal investigators, they're all about seeing spirits, things like that. I did not ever want to see anything again. So I always, like I said, perceived myself to be a spirit blocker. And then when I was with people, that they were the ones who kind of thought that up too, because nothing would happen when I was
So
with
by
them.
spirit blocker, you mean someone who stops them from coming out?
Yeah, who basically ignores them, I suppose you could say. And
So
not
in your
that-
first encounter, it was that horrific, or?
It was not horrific at all. It just was something I didn't want in my life. It was
Really?
it was just, I was playing hide and seek with my sister and brother, and it looked, I don't even want to talk about it. It looked like there was like a hand that came out underneath, like there was a sheet over top of the chair, and there was like a hand came out like this, and it creeped me out. It scared the crap out of me. I just didn't want to see anything that couldn't be explained. It was just like an opinion preference, I guess you could say.
Well, that's kind of interesting. The other topic that you brought up was the one about karma. Can you control karma?
You can, but you can't control your past karma. So karma is, there are different rules and laws of both karma, and then I also use the like the rules of attraction and the laws of attraction, because that's a modernized version of karma.
Yeah.
So it's believed that karma has a lot to do with intent. It has actually everything to do with intent. So things that you've done in your past, some people have what's called a karmic debt. That means like in every single life cycle, they're repeating the same patterns. So for example, karmic debt number 13 is for people who kind of live off other people's coat strings.
Okay.
14 is for people who have addictions, like or like alcoholism, things that they can't control and they just keep doing in each life, and they hurt other people in the process of having this reoccurring
Now,
pattern.
is this like a Groundhog Day? They have to keep repeating it until they get it right, and
Well, they have
cure
to
it?
fix it. They have to learn from those patterns. And it's alleged there's a lot of weird stuff in the metaphysical world that not everybody knows about, and it's alleged that people place these numbers in their own lives so that when they come here, they can remember to fix what needs to be fixed. It's like it just keeps playing out forever until they actually come to fix it.
Do you believe that, or?
I believe it's a very fascinating concept. I do, and so in metaphysical beliefs, it is, especially with Buddha, they expect that to reach enlightenment, you have to kind of heal everything that you've done. You have to evolve. You have to fix your own very soul, and you have to know what you're here for. It's just a very fascinating group of information to read and just learn about.
All right, let's get a little.
But I don't have karmic debt, so I don't know if I can say if it's real or not. But I know that people that I've seen with certain numbers do follow that personality.
Okay, let's get a little metaphysical here. Is controlling your karma akin to controlling fate? And should you even try?
No, I don't think those two are the same. I
Okay.
think that because fate is something that's out of your control. Karma is your intent. So, for example, if I started strangling somebody to like hurt them,
Yes.
I'm intending to hurt that person.
Yes.
But if I accidentally like elbow them, I did not mean to do that, but they still got hurt. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a pretty fine distinction. But
So
yeah.
there's a big distinction. So in metaphysical elements, they think that a lot of things that happen are pre-planned.
Yes.
So that's up to and I'm very objective. So I like to to think that everybody can feel however they want about certain things. So some people think that you can totally control everything. Some people don't believe that some people think we have free will. Some people think that we don't. Like it's, I can't say. I just know my opinions. I love reading all this stuff because it's very interesting.
Okay, let's a little bit heady there. So let's get back to the real world. No, that's fine. That's why I brought them up.
These are very interesting things that people like if you go into a metaphysical show or something, they all know all this stuff. So they'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah, I've seen that from the panel discussion.
Yeah, it's not common knowledge. It's not something that like regular people every day talk about. It's something that is pretty common in our little field.
Well, let's talk about all these books now. I saw something interesting about you online, and it said that you wrote a book within several days, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So I am wondering, what kind of template do you use in order to write an entire book in 2 or 3 days?
I use this template.
You don't follow like a Sid Field 3-act thing to put it together?
No, but you know what? You'll notice that because I am a very busy person with work and everything. So I am very busy. I'm behind on writing books right now. But by the time I actually sit down to write it, I've been thinking about it for so long that it just comes out. It's like almost like a rush of water or a fire or something. It's just, and like I will spend 2 days. I will write like 50 to 100 pages one day and then finish up the rest. And then I set it aside. I learned that from Stephen King. I just set it aside and I come back to it like a month later, read through it, add to it if I want, and then it eventually goes off to the editor and then production.
There you have it.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you one book in particular, and this will really be off the beaten track. You have a book called Closed, a COVID-19 picture book, and that's pretty much exactly what it is.
I took photographs because I was just like jogging around, and I have a date and time stamp on my phone already. So I was jogging around, taking pictures of like all the interesting signs that there were, and then like everything was closed, hence the name. So I took all the pictures and kind of documented it in a book.
Cool.
Yep. But I just hope we never ever encounter one of those again, but I'm sure at some point.
Ooh, let's hope not.
I know.
We'll talk more about Solstice Night Sky Productions and Design when Coffee and Chaos continues right after this. Say, we want to welcome a new sponsor to the show. Gabriel Mastracci is a graphic designer, an artist, and he will do rebranding for you. And he is now an official sponsor of the show. Here is the URL where you can get all of his information. It's biosite/Gabriel Mastracci. That'll take you to all of his art, what he's done, and his various social sites as well. Now, to give you an idea of what this is like, our other sponsor, the House of Fairuza, this is their logo, their original logo, which they have used up till today. And this was created back in 1947. And Sam called Gabriel up and said, we want to update this. We want to make a new logo. And here's what Gabe did for him. This is the brand new and improved look to go with the new and improved House of Fairuza. This is what Gabe did for Sam and the boys down there for their new logo. Pretty good, huh? Pretty slick, pretty clean. So if you're looking for a rebrand of your product or services, or if you're just looking to start up and start your own brand, this is the guy you need to call and talk. I'll tell you one other thing he's done. He's the guy who created the logo for this TV show. That's right. Rex Real is his design. Give him a call. He'll handle all of your marketing and branding needs. The site again is bio.site. Gabriel Mastracci. We're proud to have him as part of Outtakes with Rex Real. And we're back here at the waterfront with Christine Soltis, who is the proprietor for Solstice Night Sky Productions and Night Sky. Let's talk about the productions first. What exactly is it you produce?
Well, I started that name first. So as you know, I started writing books like 22, 23 years ago. And so Solstice Night Sky Productions came about because I am the producer of my own books. I hire the editors. I'm registered as a business under that name. I hire the artists to do the work. I also pay for events that we do. And then on top of that, I did produce like panels, as you know, as
Yes.
you mentioned. I produced them back in at LJ's bookstore and Rickert and Beagle bookstore. That was like 10 to 12 years ago. So after that, I spent a lot more time doing my PI work. So I really ended up not doing panels for like a decade. So I was still doing the books. And that's where that name stayed, was from all the book production. I was also an editor to other people's works, and the events, of course. And then now I've started doing the panels again. I'm the producer for the panels solely right now. There may be sponsors in the future. And we have like our amazing panelists and our amazing like photographers and things like that. The next one coming up is going to be about like the kind of the interplanetary beings.
Now, is this the one in November you're talking about at the library?
Yep.
Yes.
And that one's going to be about like interplanetary beings, like
Okay.
you know, the Men in Black.
Yes.
They say there's telepathic people, there's time travelers,
The people who go through dimensions.
yeah, and
stuff like that.
alien
Yeah.
abduction stories.
Yes, yes.
So that's one thing a lot of people talk about. I don't think I've been abducted, but let's hope not. So I don't have any stories on that at all, but I am producing it. I'm the moderator, and then we have an awesome and dynamic crew there. I make shirts now too. Started doing like shirts, but that's probably more under the designs portion.
Now we see a lot of things over here when we take a look at your little kiosk that's set up here in the old peanut tree, and there's a lot of jewelry over there. Are you doing that? Did you do that thing you're
Oh
wearing?
yes. This is actually a
is that
very
yours?
yes. This is a very cool piece. This is tanzanite. It's rare.
Okay.
And once the tanzanite mines are depleted in the next 10 years or so, it's going to be gone. So what I did was, because that's a very high vibrational stone is what they call it in the
Okay.
metaphysical world.
Okay.
It's supposed to take you to like the next level.
Okay.
But you wear it with smoky quartz, so that grounds it. So
Okay.
it doesn't. But I make it detachable, so you can take
so
the
now
piece
we can
off.
go crazy if you take the black off.
Absolutely. And then
gotcha.
it's a magnetic clasp.
There you go.
So that's how I do a lot
Now,
of.
how can you determine what stone, rock, quartz, crystal has some kind of power and what it does?
Stones have been very important to us for forever, I guess you'd say. Cleopatra used to use lapis lazuli as eyeshadow.
Okay.
A lot of your.
But why did she use it?
It was the blue coloration on that one.
okay. Okay.
So I don't, and as I've done like talks on this before, like public speaking events on stones, ghosts, and aliens, and
Okay.
I've gone through it, but people gave meaning to stones. So somewhere along the line,
Okay.
and if you put in a Google search of different types of stones and their names and their metaphysical purpose,
Okay.
somewhere along the line, people just made up all these stories, and that we're regurgitating them, I guess.
Okay.
But
well.
but there are some stones that are more important than others.
Okay.
Like for example, a tektite came here from a meteorite impact. So something outside of Earth impacting Earth is what created that stone. So that has
Okay.
they call that a high vibrational stone as well, because it's not from here, and that's very rare and expensive.
Okay. Now, Christine didn't know this, so I'm pulling a fast one on her.
Oh no.
Because several years ago, I went to one of these stone and crystal shows, and I got this.
Oh.
There you go, everybody. Can you see that? There it is. So, should I even be carrying this around? Do you know what this is? Do you know what
looks like
magical
calcite,
powers
it looks
has?
like calcite, but I'm not quite certain because it has the white in it.
Yep.
So this is funny that you pulled this out, and actually I would have to look this up because I'm not as familiar with this stone. It does look like an orange calcite.
Yep.
But you want to know what's funny? The fact that you have that is great because like on one of my panels about witchcraft, Wiccans, things like that, they were talking about how a stone kind of vibrates in your presence. Like you pick it up and you're like attached to it. It almost feels like something that you want to take with you, and that happened to you.
So this won't coincide with your stones at all?
Not that I
Okay.
know of. I mean, this one is so powerful.
So we're safe.
It's not
Nothing's going to
scared.
blow up or anything here.
No, but you
Okay.
should cleanse it. It feels like it's a bit heavy in presence. That cleansing it means putting it in the sun,
Oh,
and that takes away any sort of negative energy.
I have
that
not had
stays
it in
on
the sun. I've had it on my desk.
Yeah, I can kind of feel it. It has a heavy presence.
Oh, and if I put it in the sun, that will be better?
Yeah, it cleans it.
And do I just leave it there, or should I carry it around with
You
me?
can do it for like one day, and then just stick it back in your pocket. Do it every day. I put these in the sun as much as I can.
See, you learn something every day. I'm glad I did that. So let's set up a little bit your show coming up in November. Is there life on other planets?
Absolutely, I think. But that one's not about the life on other planets. It's the one that we went to in March.
Okay.
That one was more about the life on other planets. We're not going to focus so heavily on that. We're going to focus on what's coming down to us.
Okay.
With those alien abductions.
So
and
do you like the flying saucer story, or do you like the traveling through dimensions story?
I like them. I like them all.
Okay.
Like, for me, they're fascinating, but and you know, like I've said, I work in 3 states. I travel at night all by myself, and I have never seen an alien or a UFO. So I love them. They're my favorite, one of my favorites, aliens stories. But I have no proof. I do believe that I would be an idiot to think there weren't out there. I mean, we're not alone in this world. We're not alone in this universe. There's, even if their aliens look like small little, like fishes that float in the water on their planet, there's life out there. It can't be just us. I just don't believe that.
All right, let's wrap this up with a nice opinion piece for
Oh
you here.
no!
Since we're here, we're down at the waterfront. We're in western Pennsylvania. In that region, in western Pennsylvania, what do you feel or think are the best local legends or myths?
Oh, okay. I don't know so many over here, to be honest. But a lot of people talk about Green Man's Tunnel a lot.
Yes, in South Park.
Which, yeah, and I go through that area all the time.
Okay.
And obviously, I've never seen anything. But that's one that I mean, it seems kind of creepy, you know, like you go through the tunnel and you just like honk your horn and you're like waiting for something to happen and nothing. And then as a kid, as I said, my friends and I would go around Amity, those back roads in Amity. And again, I didn't see anything. So as much as they're fascinating, if we want to go outside of our local area, one of my favorite things is Mothman, Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yes.
Anything about him, like I like aliens and Mothman. They're my top 2. A lot of people like the Bigfoot. Bigfoot's cool, but he's not like my top guy.
He's not as
Sorry,
good as
Bigfoot.
Mothman. I gotcha. Hey, we should, before we go, let's plug those shows again. The big one is coming up. It's a panel discussion in November.
November 1st, Saturday, November 1st, Bethel
it
Park
is.
Library,
Yeah.
2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
They're a lot of fun. Make sure you go there. And you mentioned another
Absolutely.
one coming up in October or something, was it?
I have, yes. I'm going to be talking about being a PI. That's my serious stuff. So that will not be played outside of that. It only accepts 30 people at that one.
And where will that be held?
Also at Bethel Park Library.
very
It's in
good.
a different room, though.
Okay.
The adult. It's a new adult room.
Yes,
that's in there.
yes.
But Bethel Park Library is amazing. Rob Kalth-Shaler, he's the one who sets everything up for us.
Yep.
And it's just a beautiful place. So I totally recommend people coming there no matter what, just to see it, you know.
So whenever you get a chance, especially if you get a chance to see that panel discussion, that was an awful lot of fun. And this one promises to be too. I want to thank Christine Soltis for stopping by our cameras today. That's going to wrap us up for Coffee and Chaos. Thanks to Dave and the folks here down at the waterfront for setting us up. Have a good evening.